D.I.R.T Roy. Hello, everyone. My name is D.I.R.T Roy, the National Public Relations Officer for NSSC, and it is an honor to be your host this afternoon. We are celebrating Students' Council Week, and it's our 47th anniversary. That indeed is a big thing. Yeah, it's a big thing. So I just want to say, today we are joined by our very own. These persons are like family to us, and I don't mean to brag, but they're all products of NSSC. Yeah. So today we are joined by three wonderful guests. So we have Everton Rattray, Tamoy Campbell, and Benjamin Fraser. Let me first say thank you guys so much for taking the time out to be with us this afternoon. We really do appreciate it. So let me just start off with Tamoy. Hi, Tamoy.
Hi, D.I.R.T. Thank you so much for having me. And hi, everyone in Zoom land.
Okay, so you're the only female here on the panel. So I'm just going to start off by asking, just for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, what high school you attended, and what was your high school experience like?
Okay, thank you, D.I.R.T. So as you said, I'm Tamoy Campbell. I currently serve as the president of the Mona Law Society, and I sit on the guild as the Guild Faculty of Law representative. And when I'm not doing my MLS stuff, I'm doing queen things because I'm Miss Kingston and St. Andrew Festival Queen. I am a proud Wilmerian. I get quite a gist all the way. And my high school life was pretty cool. I liked going to school. I loved learning because I'm a nerd and I love that. But I was really engaged in lots of student leadership activities, which gave me an opportunity to interact with awesome students like yourself and speak upon issues that meant something to my constituents. And I just really liked school overall. I was very engaged and active. And I think that was really a good mix of what my school life was like. Advocacy work, going to school and being a regular student, and of course, just hanging out with my friends and having a good time.
Absolutely love that. Benjamin, can I ask you the same question? Just for you to tell us a little bit about yourself, the high school you attended, and what was your high school experience like?
My enemies are after me. I'm sorry. Okay, so I am a proud past student of Arden High School. I recently graduated from the Norman Manley Law School. I was called to the bar as well just a few weeks ago. I'm employed to Michelle Thomas and Associates, where I'm an associate attorney there. I started a journey of coaching public speaking in 2018. That's something I intend to make a long-term project. It's not just something I want to stop doing now. It would not be honest of me to say that I'm now very involved in community service. I think I was much more involved before, but I feel like in a way my priorities have sort of been channeled elsewhere, but I'm still very much passionate about national development, and my passion for national development, I think, will be demonstrated in the performance in my career. I think that is another good avenue in which I can contribute. I still participate in many of the community projects that my church, Pentecostal Sanctuary, puts on. But Call to Lead Jamaica is a baby I share with a number of my other colleagues who started that organization in 2017, 2016. And it's not as active as it was, and it is not dead. We don't intend for it to die. But I thought I should mention that organization because of how important it is to me and the involvement that I had throughout the years, the last 5 years in that. So that's it for me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And let me just say congrats.
Should I say anything about my NSSC history?
Oh wait, trust me, we're gonna get there. I can guarantee that.
Okay, all right, yeah.
So let me ask Everton now the question. Just to tell me a little bit about yourself, the high school you attended, and what was your high school like?
Okay, hi, afternoon, everyone. So I'm Everton, as mentioned by D.I.R.T. I attended Kingston College. I had a privilege, being a part of NSSC as well. My journey back then was really an interesting one. I think, if I should really be honest, it was probably the most difficult time of my life, but also the most engaging and development oriented time of my life. That's really when I started to own my leadership skills. That's when I really started to find who I am and really become the young man I am today. I'm very entrepreneurial as well, just to give you a little bit of background. I operate a cafe on the University of the West Indies, a few business ventures. So I'm very entrepreneurial and I'm very youth oriented and involved. And I also have the privilege of being a former president of the National Secondary Students Council. We actually served with Benjamin then, so we're actually buddies from then to now.
Okay, thank you so much, Everton. Benjamin, I'm going to ask you now, since you were the one that actually brought it up, what skills or knowledge did you learn through NSSC that you found most useful in your life today?
Where do I start? I mean, there was direct training on several areas that included policy development, communication and public speaking, your general interpersonal skills, planning and time management, just overall professionalism, leadership, team dynamics, understanding different leadership styles. But I think what fostered my learning the most was the platform to practice leadership. And NSSC provided that platform for you to practice leadership, because you have the responsibility, it's in your hands. You're in high school and you're saying that you're a part of a national organization, and it really is. And so you start to feel the weight of some real responsibility. At the time, that was only my second year in student council, whether at the local or in the level. The year before, I was president of the Arden High Students Council. The second year, I was appointed as the regional vice president. And I mean, I was just thrust into this thing. If you come with the right attitude to NSSC, it can do wonders for your personal development, because it's a safe space for you to practice leadership. When I reflect on some of my methods, I can now improve on them because I had that opportunity to fail. I also had the opportunity to do very well. So overall, I think NSSC gives you the tools. Then carry up a sharp park or wherever it is that we went in St. Anne, and you get to hit down the place and learn. They bring all the big names to come and teach you, so that in the following academic year, when you are now vested with that authority, you can run literally anywhere you want to go. You create your plan, you create a proposal. I'm almost done. I could not believe the amount of latitude I was given at the time to suggest plans. Nobody said, this is what you have to do. That's what you have to do. The liaison, the coordinator from ministry, Miss Ruth Lawrence, she had never been the kind of person to say, you have to do that, you have to do that. No, it was always, I'm here to guide you and help you maximize on your leadership potential. That is the space that NSSC was for me and for so many other young people.
Thank you so much, and that is something that I can definitely agree to. Tamoy, I'm going to ask you though. Go ahead and just tell me what skills or knowledge you basically obtain from NSSC.
All right, thanks, Dejane. I think I echo the sentiments of Benjamin. Honestly, NSSC gave me an opportunity to just be and shine as Tamoy, but I think also it just taught me how to be a real human being. And I say that because when we think about leadership, sometimes we're so detached in our understanding that it takes empathy and it takes understanding people and people from different backgrounds. And when you're in a space like NSSC, you learn that, hey, you know, it's okay, you should be authentic and real and passionate. But at the same time, we're all passionate. How can I tailor your passion to be used effectively to maximize your voice and your advocacy and wield impact on a particular issue? Because that's the thing, we all come in very raw, and I felt as if NSSC just chiseled us down in a way for us to comb through. It's like, you're radical and you're fiery. How can we tailor that radical and fieriness in one area, and how can you perhaps have a more passive or diplomatic liaison to still wield impact? And I find now, as president and working also with the guild, that is very important. There are issues where I have to be a little more assertive and a sort of a radical bully, and I love that. But there are other areas where it's talking to Professor Webb or talking to Professor Ali, my dean, and we're having a WhatsApp conversation, and I'm still getting things done in those very same ways. So I think in some Dijonais, you will learn that your passion can be just used in multiple ways. You get the latitude to be awesome. Look at me at the parliamentary submission and position paper. I'm gonna go, I love that. Or Miss Lawrence come and say, no, we have an interview at CV, may I get a little briefing? And no, on a regular basis, these are things I have to do, and I know how to interact with media. I know how to talk to this person. I know protocol. I know who to talk to. And so I feel as if I got a taste of the real world. But as Benjamin said, we got leadership in such a way that we were able to have our passion tailored for us to do amazing things. And the trip then did nice. Every time we go somewhere, those were nice. So I have to also plug that. The hotel and come at the capacity building workshops. Yeah, and oh God, Miss Lawrence doesn't have any event and food isn't there. So my belly was also filled as much as my mind with NSSE.
I must say though that I'm a bit jealous because we were robbed with the hotel, but it's okay. Auntie actually, planning something for us at the end of the year. Wink, wink. I hope Auntie's hearing me. But Everton, let me ask you now. Skills or knowledge?
I don't know where to start, but I really want to just give you some context so you understand what NSSC is. We really don't understand how privileged we are as Jamaicans as it pertains to just having this platform in our country. If you look across the Caribbean, there's no, I would go as far as to say that there's no other established developmental organization at the secondary level as the one that exists in Jamaica. And we're very privileged, but sometimes we really don't understand because we're not able to see that context. And Benjamin can speak a little bit to it as well, because Benjamin worked with the Commonwealth Students Association, and the struggles to develop youth organizations or student leadership within the Caribbean. But I say that to you to say that I share the same sentiments that Benjamin shared and Jamal shared in terms of the development. If you're willing to learn and you have an open attitude towards just embracing all the training, all the development that is given through your time there, I can tell you, you're poised to be one of the most influential young persons within your country in coming years, and you're poised to actually be very impactful to your society, not just the local context, but internationally. Because Benjamin, and I keep using young examples, Tamoy, I was just recently on one of the, what was that program, Tamoy, just to give some example?
Oh, which one? Bridge 1995?
No, man. Recently you went off to what speaking engagement?
Oh, yes. I went to Harvard, Harvard National Model UN.
Yes, I'm just showing you that, for example. And Benjamin travels several times with Commonwealth Youth Association, doing several work across the Commonwealth, right? And I have had the privilege as well of being a part of regional and international organizations, traveled so many times. In fact, majority of the times I've traveled, over about 10 times, it was really about youth development that I was given the opportunity. So many opportunities were presented themselves. And I can say to you, really ask me about the skills that I've garnered as a result of that. And I just want to touch on leadership particularly, because from a very early stage, I realized that NSSC helped me to own those leadership skills that I had. And it presented so many opportunities. It presented a scholarship for me, it presented so many things. And I just wanted to say to you that the one thing that I like primarily that I got from NSSC was basically how to own my leadership skills and how to make and be much more impactful to young people and to the various spaces that I enter into and the contribution that I'm able to make within those spaces.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. So now we're going to really get into the nitty-gritty of it. So today we're going to really discuss stuff like exam preparation, scholarships, and university life, because a lot of persons that's going to watch this are going to be kind of curious. So Benjamin, let me ask you, what are some study tips for students that you use that you think is kind of helpful?
Well, I think the starting point is to have an understanding of self that will inform your study style. What is your personality? Are you able to handle several persons interacting, grappling with a point, or does that annoy you and distract you, which means you might prefer grappling with the point yourself? Are you a person that needs to study throughout the academic year? Or frankly, are you the person that really is only 2 months before the exam, you know you're going to study properly? Those are just facts. I think understanding your study style will help you go much further in academic life than just trying to copy something that looks like it works for someone else. On that note, my study style, and I know that since we're in a youth leadership context, let me just be very honest. When you have several meetings, several extracurricular activities, student council is not the only thing you're a part of. You have a personal life, club, church, this, that. You are not necessarily the student who might be able to put in 3-4 hours of study a day. That is a fantasy. What you will find is a period. Let me say what I did for myself. When it came down like a month, 2 months, or 3 months before the exam, I would map my entire calendar and factor in what exactly I'm going to do, how much time I'm going to spend for each topic, and I would delete social media. That was my approach. I could not handle the WhatsApp groups. I could not handle the calls, and sometimes I would just let my phone die and I don't even charge it back. Because in my head, there was a point in the academic year, an extended time, I should say, when I was just go. And now is the time when I must own up to my primary responsibility, which is not student council. Your primary responsibility in high school is not NSSC, it's your book. Get that in the head good. Whatever point you're watching this, whether you are watching this 1 month leading up to CSEC, or you're watching it now, hear me and hear me well. Your primary responsibility is that of your academic life. So do what you must. And I did what I felt was necessary, which was I would lock away everything, like 2 or 3 months up to my major exams, and I would just pour it all in. And I would study according to the syllabus. You don't study Halstead, Cofat, everything. You study strategically. Look at past papers. Past paper practice is a must. It's a must. I don't encourage swatting because you're loading your mind to remember many things. But if you study to understand, you can study to understand within a certain frame time that you can manage, right? But if all you try to do is swat, all you need to do is have a bad day on the exam and you forget everything. But if you study to understand, it will be better retained. So that was how I managed to get through up to this point, and I still intend to study again.
Okay, lovely. Everton, let me ask you, any study tips?
I would just say to you, like, one of the things that, as Benjamin does, is in that period you have so many things that are happening for you. You know, you're not just involved in student council. A lot of the times what we find is that student leaders are oftentimes very involved in a lot of clubs and societies right across the board. So it's not like you're just balancing your student council work and your academics. You know, it's balancing student council, 15 other clubs plus your academics. You know, one of the things I try to encourage students to do is to try to find clubs that are particularly going to be most beneficial to you. And this is just my personal recommendation. Instead of being in 15 clubs, try to find the clubs that you primarily find are going to help you the most in terms of where you want to go or the developmental skills that you need to learn. For example, I tried to do debating when I was in high school because I was very fearful of speaking, and it helped me to own my skills along with NSSC. Right, I joined NSSC, our student council, primarily because I wanted to learn to representation in terms of advocacy and representing. You know, like I was very particular about the clubs I joined and how meaningful they were. What I found was that I had more time instead of being in all those clubs because, you know, you have club meeting Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, all different days for all of these different clubs. So I tried to minimize the amount of clubs. With minimizing the amount of clubs, I was better able to find time in some regards to say, you know what, instead of going to the club this afternoon on Wednesday, I'm going to spend an extra few hours in the library before I go home, and I'm going to do a 2 or 3 hours of studying. So that was how I did it. But also being a part of NSSC, you have a lot of extracurricular activity, especially if you're a part of the executive, right? So there are times when it was very difficult, being honest with you, to prioritize my studies. But I can tell you, at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what is most important to me? And I really mean that, because for me, I almost equated leadership with my academics. And that for me, and I'm saying it to you because I knew that leadership is not something that we should take lightly. But I also knew that if you don't have the academics, it makes it also very difficult for you to transition into the working world and to transition into university. But as it pertains to study tips, I try to prioritize as much time as I could in terms of, you know, I'd reach home late, for example, from NSSC office around 7 o'clock. I'd try to do at least 2 hours before I go to bed. You know, part of it was also just making the sacrifice. And I can tell you, the higher you go in leadership, the more demanding it is on you. Especially as a president, I had a lot more responsibility in terms of just planning on a national level. So for me, it was basically making that sacrifice at night to basically put in a few extra hours. Now, Benjamin made a very particular point, was you might not have that 4 or 5 hours blocked to study every day. But what was most important for me was to be disciplined about trying to put in an hour or two every single day. Even when I got home and I was tired, it was difficult. It made even the studying process much more tedious and just drawn out. But what I would say to you is, having that discipline and over time, I found that I was able to cover a lot more content. I was able to grasp a lot more concepts. And as a result of that, when I went into my exams, I was able to be way more aware of a lot more topics, and I was able to do very well in my exams, hence getting a scholarship as well. Yeah, that would be my suggestion.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Tamoy, how about you? Study tips?
Hi, all right, Visionaire. I would want to just say this adage, and I know Miss Lawrence has said it perhaps a million times. You are a person first, then you're a student, and then you're a student leader. And I literally live by that every single day, even right up to at university. Visionaire, I have had to become very selfish with my time. Somebody told me that nobody wants a done student leader. So you can be repping, as Everton said, planning all the national events. You're going here and there, and your academics looking all sloppy. That's not cute. And I had to say to myself that I have to prioritize what's important, just as what Benjamin is saying. Now, understanding that, I became selfish with my time. I felt bad at some point, but I had to do it. So whenever there was a time in between a tutorial and perhaps my next class, or let's use in a high school context, if I had some free time, I didn't spend 2-3 hours, but if it was even 1 hour, I said I would start, because slow progress is still progress. I'd still be 1 page ahead on that worksheet or covering that topic than I was the day before. And I had to be like that. I do things like do not disturb, and I just block out time. I don't want you to talk to me right after. But one of the things I try to do though is I try to get things done leadership wise, and then I have my time, because I don't want to like just be selfish and I can't neglect my other duties and responsibilities. But I would say things, I have a to-do list, and I've only become really strict on it recently. I write down the things I have to do. I have to answer these student queries today. When I have done that, I am offline. I do not deal with student matters after 10 o'clock. Those boundaries become very important, because then you use that time after 10 o'clock to catch up on your notes, to watch that YouTube video. I'm a lover of the flashcards kind of vibe, so I make a lot of flashcards and sticky notes. I'm in law school now, so I try to take some time and brief on one case and get things done. And I would say, in summation, prioritize yourself and your responsibilities to yourself. It's important that you still do your job as a student leader, but you can't neglect yourself. So block out some time, be disciplined. If you can use a to-do list, I'd highly recommend it. And have accountability partners. Right now, people on my executive know that I'm doing this. So should some academic issue come up, my VP is right there ready to step in. Now, it kind of feels like I'm oversharing sometimes, but I rather know that somebody knows where I'm at. So if something happens, then I know that it can be dealt with accordingly, because somebody is there and somebody can step in. But you may not always have the opportunity to do that. So I would just say, be disciplined, prioritize yourself, block out some time, and slow progress is still progress. You won't perhaps get you perhaps won't get 3 hours to do it, but if you can get 1 hour to get some work in, then I think that's amazing, and kudos to you. So those would be my tips / strategies.
Thank you. I hope you guys are taking notes. I sure am. Benjamin, let me ask you, what advice do you have for students as they look for future careers or future programs to apply for in regards to university?
In Jamaica, there is a cost to education. Not like in several Latin American countries where those students with vengeance defend their right to free tertiary education. That does not obtain in Jamaica. For the most part, you will have to secure the funding for your education. I think because of that harsh reality, it is a harsh reality that your dreams are really put in a box of what you can afford. It's a harsh reality. We can be ambitious and reach for the stars, which we should. But when you take NCU or any of the other universities here or abroad that you choose, when they're ready for the fees, they want the fees. So I think from as early as possible, especially in high school, the family, the support system around the student should have an open conversation about the ambitions of that student and what the family can afford. Are you going to work part-time? Are you going to sit out a year or two to accumulate some funds and then pursue what you would like to pursue? Are you going to just throw all faith at it that you will get the scholarship that you want, that also a third of the graduating population of that year is also applying for, and there's only one space for that particular scholarship? It means only one person can get it. Those are the harsh realities in planning for university. But I am a person of faith. Me sitting here today is as a result of faith. If it were just because of the harsh realities of life, I would not be where I am right now. So, with the hard facts that I just gave, I would say to every student, dream and pray and position yourself for opportunity. You never know who is watching you. You never know who is just saying, I think I'm going to help this student. I admire their tenacity and focus and how they have managed themselves. I'm going to help that student. You never know. So I would say, apply, 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 apply. That is how you position yourself. If you don't apply, and well, I should say, if you don't even have the prerequisites, position yourself with the prerequisites to apply, then you can't go further. When you get to the stage of having to deal with the finances, you want to have some options. You want to have some options. So in the menu of school options that you have before you, don't make all of them be in one financial bracket, right? All of them can cost 38,000 US dollars a year. Have a plan B. My plan A was to study at the University of Toronto in Canada or York University. I was accepted for both, but my family could not afford it. And thank God I applied for UA. UA accepted me, and 5 years later, that's it. Many persons don't have that story. It is just the truth. Many persons apply for law and they end up in IR because that's what they can afford. But does that mean your dreams are halted? No, 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 no. So the final point I want to make is this. Don't feel that your academic pursuits end in your early 20s and your dreams end in your early 20s. It's just that God has opened doors for some people to get to a place quicker than somebody else because he needs them to be there now. And somebody else may be delayed, which is not really a delay. It's just not your time as yet. But dream and plan and hope. Right. I say right because sometimes we have these marvelous ideas in our heads of what we'd like to do. And then when life starts box to left, right, and center, we forget about the things that we wanted to do. Those are my words.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Everton, let me ask the question now to you. Would you like me? Well, go ahead.
Sorry, if you want to. Oh, yes. All right. So I was trying to, my few words is this: your talent will take you places. And I preach this a lot. Your talent will take you places. From an early stage, I understood that leadership was a strong point for me. And I started to develop myself around that. I started to learn how to speak properly so that I could articulate myself in a way that people would understand. And when I speak, I could communicate and make people be empowered or whatever might be the point or the case. So what I started to do after learning to develop myself was that I started to believe that, you know what, probably I really could get a scholarship pertaining to my leadership ability, right? And I say that to you to say, talent will take you places. You know what is your strong point. For example, Benjamin might have mentioned the academic side in terms of, going after your dreams and particularly pursuing different scholarships. If you know that you're very gifted in football, for example, you're very gifted in cricket. Now, there are lots of different scholarships out there. One of the things that you can also think about is pursuing a scholarship within your talent, right? Now, some persons might not necessarily see leadership as a talent, but for me, I saw leadership as a talent. And what I did primarily was try to be very outstanding in leadership at the secondary level when I was there. What I would do, I'd be involved in clubs, I'd be involved in societies that I could make a meaningful contribution. I'll try to get involved on a national level. I was head boy of my institution, I was NSSC president. And I mention all that to say to you because I knew that I was very gifted with leadership. And at the end of it, I was looking for all the possible leadership scholarships that I could get. Not meaning that my academic wasn't strong, but primarily leadership based, where persons would invest in your talent. Just the same, you might be gifted in music, you might be gifted in, as I mentioned, cricket, football, whatever it is. So look for those opportunities. But in order to stand out within those opportunities, you have to own your skills. You have to spend the extra hours developing yourself and be very strategic. When I was being appointed as advisor, youth advisor to the government of Jamaica, the prime minister said, young people, you have to be strategic and you have to be smart. And the context in which he said was basically that you can't go after everything. But if you're going to go after anything particularly, give it your best and be very strategic about how you go after it. And that's what I did. I focused on leadership. I knew it was my strength, and I balanced my academic with it, and it presented opportunity. So for persons out there that are looking for scholarships, I would say to take a similar approach. You know, I mean, along with what would have been suggested before, you know, look at possible opportunities in terms of your strength. Because, and again, I speak in this context because we need to look at the fact that not everyone is they are very academically strong, right? But there are a lot of persons who are strong in different areas. And if you look at the university offer a lot of universities right across offer a lot of scholarships in different areas, right? So you could look at those. And I say to you, own your skills and look for those opportunities within those areas, and there may be existing opportunities. So I just speaking from the talent area aspect. You know, Benjamin already mentioned academic aspect as well.
Okay, thank you, Tamoy. Let me hear from your perspective. What advice do you have?
All right, Bijane, could you please repeat the question? I think it broke up just a little bit.
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. So what advice do you have for students that are looking for future careers or future programs to apply to?
All right, great. So I think Benjamin and Everton encapsulated just so much that I wanted to mention, especially on the academic side, and of course, trying to use your talents to work for you, because that's literally what I do. So one, I research a lot, so I ensure that I comb through what it is that I want, but I also try to use my skills and my abilities to help me and to help me flourish. So I'll give my own story. I study law now, and in applying for faculty, I was very active at Wolmer's, which came into my advantage because even just to come to this semester, my alumni was so nice enough to pay a portion of my school fees. But yeah, so that's also something that's really important for you to be very active, but use all the business that you're doing with NSSC and all the activities to move for your leverage. This is what your donors can look and say, wow, this person contributed so much. I got an award from my alumni for community service and leadership, and I'm trying to use that now to help me and to perhaps push me further. So I think one, just ensure, as Everton said, hone your talents and your abilities, but also hone talents and abilities that could complement you. On the side, I host events and I do radio, and I was so the persons or the organization I host a lot of webinars for were so grateful, were so helpful in helping me to get a scholarship to pay off my school fee from last semester. So these are things that perhaps don't align. I do law, but then of course something else that I have working for me ends up working for me. And that's what I want to plug. Use the things that you have going for you to make something for you. And this might be a little bit not bougie or perhaps what you want, but be a professional beggar. I'm so unapologetic about it. Ask for what you want. If you want a scholarship, if you want some funding, you are going into these spaces with people. You made such a great speech. You ended up meeting perhaps the president for this organization. That could be a side conversation to say, sir, do you want an intern for the summer? I do it all the time. I ask people, you want somebody to, and I use another firm example. I just did an event with Festival Queen at Bob Marley Museum. And right then I just talked to the legal and operations officer, and she wanted somebody to help her do some IP matters and some other stuff, and she have her own private practice. Boom, shoot my shot, and I secured something here. And that's what I'm trying to say to you guys. Shoot your shot professionally. Don't be afraid to ask somebody if you want me to volunteer, to intern, or perhaps to write a nice crafted letter. You're learning all these skills into NSSC and how to articulate yourself. Do you have any funding? Could you assist me with this and that? And of course, when you position yourself, as how Everton was saying, so you have the academics going for you, or you're poised and you're a great leader, these things are more motivating to somebody to say, yeah, I can definitely invest in this person because it will be something that will be worthwhile, not just for that individual, but for myself. So I think Benjamin gave you the academics part of it. Everton was giving you more of another aspect of it. And I'm just trying to piece it together. So guys, use the things that you have going for you to shoot your shot and get things done. You're a good leader. You're a great footballer. You host events. Ask for what you want. Be a professional beggar. Just ask people to assist you along the journey, and use lots and lots of faith, and ensure that you pray. Come, he's a church girl, so I know Benjamin is a church person too. So you pray on it and ensure that you position yourself, as Everton said, to get them and maximize on those opportunities. So that would be my few cents on the strategies of, how to position yourself to get opportunities, career and scholarship wise.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Benjamin, let me ask you, on a scale from 1 to 10, how difficult would you say it to get through to a scholarship? And where can we go to find these scholarships?
Oh, well, I don't know. I don't know if I can give anything on that scale, but I just answer the question freely. I'll give you a funny story and answer the question too. So I live at a particular address. I don't think I want to say my address on this platform, but that address is considered a bougie community. But I know what my means are. I know what my family has. We are far from that. Far from that. It's one of those places where you have the rich side and then the poor people, but generally, people don't know that there is that. So anyways, I say that to say, I realized that in applying for scholarships, the interviewers asked me certain questions about my address. You know what I did? I removed my address from my scholarship applications and put my church's address, which is Grand Spen. It wasn't a lie, as I do consider my church my second home. But I realized that the plot twist was that I had the wrong address. And these are just the kinks about the process that you have to be aware. You see, when I changed the address, I saw the difference in the treatment because I applied for several scholarships that are available on the Youth Jamaica website. They post them from time to time. Simple Google, Flour Mills, all of them, they post. You can check JTech, the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission's website. They have a whole resource to assist students in planning for university. I strongly encourage you. Scholarship Jamaica. If you're going to UWI, walk over to the student financing building and talk to them. They facilitate those discussions. But I would strongly advise you that this is just the truth about let me get the street talk now. The inside scoop on scholarship. The funders and donors, they do it not just because they want to give, but because they have a corporate social responsibility and they want it to be seen by the public that they're helping those who are in need. If you do not appear to be in need, if the information in your application make you look rich, your scholarship application is not the place to floss and tell them about all that you have. You don't want to make yourself sound desperate. You don't want to bring yourself to a place of indignity, but you need to craft those documents in such a way that they understand that you are a person who is in need and that you would be a grateful beneficiary. And in my case, I had to change my address.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Benjamin. Everton, let me ask you now the question. On a scale from 1 to 10.
Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 1 being least difficult, correct? And 10 being the most difficult. Okay, I would say, all right. Some schools have scholarship that helps students directly. Then there are schools that might not have many scholarships. For example, Kingston College have a lot of scholarships that are practically given through our Old Boys Association. And a lot of schools might not be the same. I would just suggest to you, go online on Google, type in scholarships in Jamaica. When you type in scholarships in Jamaica, you're going to see so many different scholarship opportunities that exist within the Jamaican context. Next thing you might need to do is start to screen which scholarships particularly you might want to apply for. No, the difficulty level you asked me, I would say 10, because you see, one of the things that I think primarily as young people would tend to do is we just want to apply for 1 or 2 scholarships and that's it. If you really want to shoot a shot, you might have to apply for about 10 or 15, and you might get through with 1 or 2. That's just the reality, right? And then again, as I say, it's on a level of 10 because you're going for sometimes a scholarship that they might be giving 2 persons, and you're only one of 200 applicants in that process. So the reality is, as Benjamin mentioned, You might have to craft your, your application in such a way that you don't oversell yourself in a way like, oh, this person might not be the best person for it because they might be more, financially well off or whatever might be the case. You want to craft yourself in a way that you show them that your hunger for, you have a hunger for an opportunity to pursue whatever field you want to go into. You want to position yourself. And I would say to you, there are a lot of persons who also help you to draft your application for scholarships. If it's a case where you're not the strongest in drafting the application, reach out to somebody who might be able to help you with that. That's a suggestion I'd make to you if you find it difficult. And I would say to you, the most difficult part is just, and it's not so difficult, the most difficult part I find is to complete the application process in terms of filling out documents and all of that. But I'm telling you, if you go through that process and make all the different applications and you also try to be creative, sometimes you might know somebody who might be able to help you to get a scholarship. And I say this because it is the reality, right? And if you can also ask somebody to put in a word for you in getting an opportunity or a scholarship, let them know your circumstances, do so, right? It's no harm. It's just the reality that you want opportunity, and it also reflects how hungry are you for the opportunity, right? So I would just say to you, you're not doing anything illegal. Let's make it very clear. But I'm saying to you, if you can utilize your influence and your connections to help you to get an opportunity, please do so, because it's to help you at the end of the day so that you can also better contribute to your society, right? So I just want to say to you, those are some suggestions. Just go online, type in scholarships in Jamaica. There are so many opportunities that are going to come up. Scholarships Jamaica are going to come up, which is a platform which a bunch of scholarships exist there. There are a lot of other international agencies that might be offering scholarships to Jamaicans that might exist there overseas. Like, so many things will come up. And I just say to you, go through, take your time, look at the scholarships. What are the criteria that you need in order to apply for the scholarship? And it was mentioned, you might not necessarily meet the exact criteria, but you might be able to get the scholarship skill because you have involvement. You have been in so many clubs. You have made so many contributions in different ways at the secondary level. And those are things that you need to take advantage of, as Tamoy would have mentioned. Take advantage of some of those opportunities where you have done so many things, leverage it, use it to your advantage. So I'd say to you, go through, look at the criteria, look at which one you want to particularly apply for. And then at the end of the screen, you should be applying for about 10 to 15. And, that might be a better chance of you getting scholarships. So, yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Tamoy, I'm just going to direct the question to you now, just to hear your perspective.
Thanks so much, Dijane. On a scale of 1 to 10, we're at a 50 at how difficult I believe it is for applying for scholarships. And then there's applying for scholarship, and then there's applying for scholarships for the courses or the degrees like the law, the med, and the engineering, which honestly, that pains my heart because that has been my entire reality. So resources and places that I use, I'm one of those persons who type in scholarships in Jamaica. I type in all about scholarships. I use Scholarship Jamaica. I go on LinkedIn and I use hashtag scholarships. Chelsea K. Wright, she used to, and Shante Shan, who's also a past NSSC executive. They do a lot of resources and share information about that. So I live on their IG and I follow them on social media. So resources wise, in addition to that, guys, I do just about anything I can to pay my school fee and help with anything. And that means I'm a good writer. I enter every essay competition. I enter a jingle. I don't do posters because I'm not artistic like that and I'll stay in my lane. But there's public speaking competition, and trust me, those are $20,000, $10,000 that pay a miscellaneous fee that add up and pay a little something. And I say because it's something I do so much. My mother calls me a hustler because I ensure that I pay for my school fee like that. So in addition to applying for the one Holy Pass scholarships, I'd also say find little opportunities into competitions. They're all over the place, and literally one cocoa full basket. That is my tactic. Live on Ministry of Education. There's JAMFA. There's a database. You can definitely use those. I've also benefited from that. 350K off my school fee. That's really, really nice. My mother works in public sector. So if you have a mother, auntie that works in public sector, Ministry of Finance grants. I'm giving you away some of my tidbits. No, honestly, Dijane, it's really difficult because I study law, and there are times when you go on a website not applicable to law, engineering, and medicine. And I feel like it's a badge of dishonor that I've gone over to this faculty because nobody wants to give me money. And I can understand, fine, you have your reasons, but I don't let that deter me. So I do a lot of the activities that I do know to help give me more leverage to sort of say, yes, this is why I'm deserving. Another thing, there are some really nice law firms out there, and I have to big up Maris, Rattray, and Gordon, because for my 2 years at faculty, I've been a recipient of their scholarship, and I feel very nice. I feel very nice about that. So let's say you want to pursue law. There are lots of law firms who give scholarship. And if law, that's not your path, that's okay. Me and Benjamin will handle that, and you can pursue your other direction. You can live at the office of OSF, that's for UE, and I know that UTech has their academic service unit that you can definitely reach out to, and you will be able to be flourished with a lot of information. But honestly, guys, I would just say, shoot your shot all the time. And do not limit yourself. Apply to as many as there are, and apply to different little competitions, because that money does add up. Be the professional beggar. A lot of times you can write a nice little letter and it works for you. And as Everton had mentioned, tell people about your story. In paying my balance for last year, I literally shared my experience with the organizers of the place I really host events for. And she groups it up, and 2 tours, I got the money to clear up everything from last semester. And so that's really great because I shared my story. So share, you're in a space like NSSC. Have you ever asked Miss Lawrence or talked to somebody, or just ask your friend? Some of you guys, your own friends and colleagues, and have information to help you. And so I think if you use all of that Benjamin, Everton, and myself had just said, and a lot of faith, you'll be okay, even though it can be very difficult. So those are my couple cents.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. Let me just take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for taking the time out to be with me this afternoon. We really do appreciate it. This was definitely a fruitful discussion, and I can guarantee that anybody that view this session, they will definitely get, a full amount of information going on to their next step. Any final words from any of our guests?
Oh,
okay, Tamoy.
Okay, sure. I just want to say thank you, and thank NSSC for the opportunity. Big up to Everton and Benjamin. I must say, I felt a little special, on this platform with these giants, because, like, they're there. And I'm just like, I'm climbing up. So it felt really great, very humbly. Yes, Benjamin.
No bother with that. No bother with that.
But apart from all of that, I just want to say, guys, bloom wildly and just live unapologetically, and always add your razzle. I like to say that a lot because I think you're in a really good space and you are gifted with privileged opportunities. Make the most of them. Have faith. Do your absolute best. Be a good person. Nobody step on nobody to ensure that you make it to the top, and ensure that in everything that you do, there's integrity. You're sound in your words and what you're about, and ensure that at the end of the day, you just mash up the place and dream big. And I wish you all the very best in your academic pursuits and everything kind of pursuits, because I'm not awesome and I'm not have it like that. And I can't wait to see you guys taking over the place. So those will be my couple things.
I mean, I would just say, just believe in yourself. It's something that we don't oftentimes hear. Sometimes, the persons around us don't necessarily give you the faith to believe in yourself, but I'm telling you, you have the potential to move mountains. And you might not see the right now, but just take one step at a time. Just put one foot in front of the next one. Every day you wake up, go after what you want. And I just say to you, you're at the secondary level, sometimes you might not see your entire future. But I just say to you, believe in yourself, and trust me, you will see how many doors will open for you, so many opportunities will present themselves to you. That's all I just want to remind you today, just to believe in yourself as you go forward and be awesome.
Yes, and I would like to leave all the student leaders with a little scripture from Ecclesiastes. It says, whatever your hands find to do it with your might. And by virtue of an appointment, whether locally, regionally, or nationally, you are in a position of leadership. And I would strongly advise you to unleash your potential in that role. You don't know where it could take you. You never know who is watching. You never know what 5 years down the line your performance today might do for the future. Give it your best. You may have lost the election, and so you're not the president, or you're not the vice president, or you're not the secretary PRO that you wanted to be, but you have a role. You're still a part of a unit. Do your best. That's what I'd like to leave with.
Thank you guys so much. Virtual clappies. Okay, guys, just remember, through the dirt we rise. That's our team for Students Council Week 2022. And it means driving innovation through resilience and transformation. So once again, thanks for everyone that joined. And thanks again, a special thanks to our guests. I hope everyone have a wonderful rest of the day. And see you guys at our next activity. Remember to join our conference tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks for having us.
Bye.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. Don't leave just yet. The Jamaica Prefects Association, so the NSSC would have done their session just now. Excellent job, by the way, Dijane. So for those who would like to join the Jamaica Prefects Association, they will be having a little chat with the Rhodes Scholar for this year. So I think that will be an exciting one as well. So another exciting event. If feel free to stay for that. I will be handing over the reins now to Miss Akishma Payne, who will take it from here. Thank you so much, Dijane. Great job.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Hi, my name is Akishma Payne. I actually have a few things to do before I can turn on my camera and properly